Yeah, the thing I want to talk about in this game video about Paladin is oh sorry. Uh, yeah, the thing I want to talk about is uh, some start with some comparison and about Paladin and Overwatch. And the first thing I want to say before I talk about anything about Overwatch is I have never played Overwatch. Yeah, I played Overwatch only demo, but like this is it's very important to know when you compare Overwatch and Paladin, as is both games is very good. One game have much better uh, studio, but the difference is one is sci-fi and some bit of history in Overwatch, and the other one is fantasy. So that is the biggest difference with the games. They both are shooting games, but they are different in that way. The heroes you see in Overwatch, they always brings out sci-fi element to them, like the Tracer with her time period, time manipulation. You can go back in time. The big gorilla guy, her Tracer's friend. The hamster. All of them are based on sci-fi. They are use sci-fi and technology weapons when they fighting. In Paladin, they use magic. There is some have sci-fi, of course, too, but it's much more magic. So it's very unfair. It's what I think to say that Paladin is right away a rip-off of or a copycat of Overwatch. For many games are similar in that way, that the game style, a first-person shooter, like or open world game or building game. So that is very wrong to say that some games are copies, because this game maybe was 2 years or 3 years before the other game. There's many different. The different is the same games. That way, both of them use magical and sci-fi kind of champions and heroes. That is a similarity with the gameplay style. The different is fantasy, and the other one is sci-fi. And this Paladin is much more focusing on the sci-fi aspect in the game, and some sci-fi of course too. And the other thing about Paladin, as Paladin have much more champion than Overwatch have heroes. I don't know what the reason are why it's like that. But is when like the other thing is when you compare them two, there's very different art style to the game, very different way. One much is more like painting style, painted in the style, and the other one is much more graphical and more bright. But both of them looks very nice in different shape or form. The only thing the difference is what you prefer. If you prefer a game that is more sci-fi, then absolutely go and play Overwatch. It's much better than if you like sci-fi, absolute Overwatch. But if you much more like fantasy, is Paladin is better in that shape or form. So both of the games is good in their own right, but you prefer what you prefer when you play a game. And the other thing I want to talk about is comparison with some of the heroes and the champions in Overwatch and Paladin. And the thing I really want to talk about is when the most classic one is maybe Makoa and Renrock. Both of them are using chain weapons, like hook chain weapons, and fire like shotgun firearm. The difference is the biggest difference about them is one of them is more is more a real fantasy. It's a real fantasy creature, and they are much more based on waters. They are similarity in the play style. It's very similarity. The different of them are, one is much more technical guy, like a gangster or a robber. The other one is like a more sea protector. So it's the similar gameplay, but to make them different is how the backstory of them are. There's a very different attitude to the Markova and Rainrock. And the other one is I totally forgot her name, but the Korean girl with the robot machine in Overwatch, comparable to the green guy in Paladin with the Oxy machine, war machine. There's many different things about them. Is that all of them have so much different gameplay, but they are maybe looks is some part similar in the weapon, some part, but there's many things to make them totally different from each other. And that is a reason why people can play Overwatch and they can play Paladin. For if they really look close to the game, like really, it's many things that are gonna be different from each other when they play. So that is very important. So that I absolutely think that is very wrong to say that somebody is a rip-off of something else because of just how the gameplay is working in the game. But it's much more heroes in Paladin. Excuse me. It's much more champions in Paladin than in Overwatch has heroes. So there's lots more variation you can use in Paladin and you can use in Overwatch. And this maybe is then also Paladin also use cards, and cards make them more different in the gameplay way than Overwatch. The reason why Overwatch has so much more fan base is very because of the high-rise studio, because of Blizzard, and Blizzard is a big company. This very unfair when you compare a big company. Many Yeah, so there's very unfair to really to compare, to really say really, because of one game is also the thing is the important thing about all of this thing is that when you have, like, it's not an excuse about money or something. This not that what I'm gonna say. The thing I'm gonna say is like this: if you have a big fan base from different games, like World of Warcraft, it's much more influence in the game community, and what Paladin has. So it's very unfair when somebody compare a big multi company to a smaller company. But there's not, that is the interesting thing here, that even if Overwatch have all this benefit over Paladin, they still don't make Overwatch extremely is not always a better game. And that is the interesting thing. What I think about these two games, that some game that is free to play like Paladin, and other game, the other one is you have to buy to play, and to buy, yeah. And that is the interesting thing about that is there should not be any comparison. There should be like so much like Overwatch should be dominating the whole way, and that is not the case. That is the interesting thing for me, that a game that costs money and a games that have some big company behind them, and so like big story behind them, like World of Warcraft, World of War, many different big games like them, World of Warcraft and other. I don't remember the other name, but and Overwatch. So that is a so interesting thing, as a game that has so much is still almost the same platform as Paladin, almost the same platform. So that is the interesting thing, that why don't. So that is it. So that what I mean with everything about that point is, even if a game how much more money to bring to the game, is not going always. This not always means that the game is gonna be much better in the end, and a game are lesser money put to it, and a game with bigger budget. That means if you have a good idea when you do a game, that is the most important thing. Money is, of course, money is important. You have money to pay the people who make the game, the designers, the artists, and so on and so on. But the other thing that is interesting for me, that a game like is so big company like as Blizzard versus like Hi-Res Studio, there is still not a big gap. It should be like a big like a 100% no comparison, but it's still there's almost the same platform, even if they are have much more money and have more influence in the game world, and what the other one have. So that is the interesting thing for me. Really, that's what I really think is interesting, and so on. And yeah, so I of course I prefer Paladin much more than Overwatch, because I like more the Paladins champions compared to the Overwatch heroes. But I don't think that if you like, I think people can play the both game and still don't be bored if they play the both game, but they are different. One is fantasy, one is sci-fi, and it's many games that are first-person shooter, so are similar, but they can still play both of them. So that is absolutely. So I don't say anyone is better than other, but I prefer. Absolutely, I prefer Paladin over Overwatch. But I would absolutely try in the future. Maybe I'm gonna try some Overwatch gameplay. It's very interesting thing in Overwatch, like the storyline, and they use many different countries to the heroes in Overwatch, like the Egyptian girl and the ice. There is many interesting characters and too in Overwatch. So Overwatch player can find interesting things in Paladin, and Paladin players can find interesting things in Overwatch. So I absolutely don't think it's necessary that people gonna say one thing is better than the other. I think you can always say you like it more, but we can always never say that something is better than the other one. There's always different opinion to the gameplay and the game. And I think if I play Overwatch, I will absolutely feel like Overwatch. When I play Paladin, I will always feel like I play Paladin. It's not never gonna be a comparison for me. It's different. It's a different game with a different line to it, and that is what I really want to say about in this video when in Paladin and Overwatch talk. Yeah.